Hi everyone, welcome back to the weekly Politics Show. I'm Councillor Premier with co-host Councillor Andrew Wood, and we're joined on my loudspeaker by veteran journalist Peter Oborne. So in this section, we're going to discuss about possible solutions. So I'm going to start off with Peter. Peter, you've written extensively about this problem, starting with the Blair years, going over to Cameron, and now Johnson. What are the solutions? How can we strengthen our public institutions and the political culture to make sure things like this don't happen again?
Yeah, that's a veteran journalist, I regard myself as a spring chicken, and so I it is true that I was there at the time of the Iraq invasion, and the terrible misinformation put out by the British government about weapons of mass destruction, and that led to this terrible war, which its consequences are still being felt to this day, and also the misjudgments, terrible misjudgments, I think, made about in Afghanistan, which has become very relevant again today. So I have an old-fashioned idea, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Is the politicians should tell the truth, and they should be honourable, and they should not allow their private interests to interfere with their public duties. And that's as relevant in Westminster as it is in Tower Hamlets or any other local council. That there is a problem when you get rogue operators in the British system, which relies on people acting in an honourable way. Now, we have a rogue operator now in the shape of Boris Johnson, the Conservative Prime Minister, and he has. And the fact that here we have a man who ignores the ministerial code, who appoints his cronies to important positions, who can't tell who rewards party donors, and who lies and cheats all the time, and then lies about lying. It's a real problem because it sends out a terrible message to ordinary people that it doesn't matter if you lie and cheat, and it really does. And in fact, perjury in a courtroom will get you sent to jail. Lying in a courtroom will take you. So what do we do? I think we have to guard the system against rogue operators like Mr. Johnson. There have to be tougher rules about misleading Parliament. When you can just get away with it about breaking the ministerial code, i.e. they on interest. Johnson has on many occasions. The Prime Minister has on many occasions. It's really shocking to think about that, how this Prime Minister conducts himself. And not just him, other ministers as well. And so I think we need to have a look at, you have to take away, the moment unbelievably, who is in charge of the ministerial code, who is responsible for it, which the ministerial code says you should act with integrity and decency and honour and should rely on private interests. They should declare them and should allow them to influence your decision. Who makes the final decision about the ministerial code? Lo and behold, it's Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Well, that's unacceptable. You can't have that. You've got to have a broader body making the decisions about whether that code has been breached. And I can tell you, listeners might be shocked, Mr. Johnson has breached the code on multiple occasions, dozens of occasions. The Prime Minister of this country has breached the ministerial code, which demands honest conduct. And you have a rogue operator making decisions about public integrity. That's terrible. And of course, it applies at the local level as well. And so we need to change the law about how integrity is enforced at the heart of our public life.
Do you want to come in? How do we protect ourselves from rogue operators in Tower Hamlets? There seems to be quite a few of them alleged wandering around in our public institutions. What's your take? Sorry, you're on mute, Andrew.
Yeah, so my niece just came in and I had to mute in case she said anything inappropriate. No, so I mean, it's interesting because actually with Peter on the call, actually, I think the answer is better reporting and better journalism within Tower Hamlets. We've only got really one newspaper, East London Advertiser, but they don't cover some of the stuff in a great level of detail. And as a result, there's a lot of misinformation out there or misunderstanding about what happened. And I think one of the solutions within Tower Hamlets would be actually, more detailed reporting. There is one individual, a gentleman called Mark Baines, who runs our East End, who attempts to do this, isn't liked by some people, and he struggles. He's not a sort of professional journalist. He's not paid to do this, but he's pretty much the only person that's trying to cover some of this detail. And I think the solution would be, better local journalism, better local newspapers. Funnily enough, I'm actually in Germany today, and I'm looking across at the offices of the local newspaper. It's a town of about 45,000 people, and they've got their own newspaper. And I wish we had the same in places like my part of Tower Hamlets. And I think if we had better reporting and the politicians knew that people were there to watch them, then I think the politicians would be more careful about what they do and what they say. But there's too few people in Tower Hamlets really fulfilling that role. And some of those who do, like Mark, they're seen as partisan figures, or it's me. I'm a politician. So when I say things, obviously people assume I have a political edge, even though I think what I'm reporting generally is pretty accurate. So I think that would be part of the solution, would be better, more accurate local journalism. But how we do that, I'm not entirely sure. And that's maybe another area where Peter could comment.
Peter.
I'd just like to echo, Andrew, you're absolutely right. One of the problems is the kind of collapse of the economics of the newspaper media industry. And that means that there aren't many, the local journalism has fallen away, and of course it's subject to all kinds of pressure. And of course that applies, it's very interesting, I won't mind very interesting about the discussion, so you can mirror at the local level in Tower Hamlets what's going on nationally. So nationally, we have the same problem that there are too many client journalists in the big newspaper groups who don't see their job as a job of journalism, but actually support the lives of the Prime Minister, repeat them, and then actually attack people who expose the dishonesty of the government. And they're not really journalists, they're client journalists. And what we want is good, solid journalism. And there are examples of it, by the way, of terrific work being done by the Financial Times at the moment, exposing the bent financial structures around the Prime Minister, how he raises money, and some of the terrific new journalist called Gabriel Pogron, new on the block, really, and the Sunday Times has been doing the same thing. There are a few of them, but not nearly enough, and I won't name and shame the people who haven't been doing that. But we want more decent journalism. I really say, please get to that. And I'm going to sign off on that positive note. It's a real pleasure to be on your program, Bruce. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. And we look forward to, Andrew and I look forward to collaborating with you.
The other thing I learned a tremendous amount talking to Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. I really enjoyed that conversation. Learned that I think you really do need to think about the way you carry out prosecution in Tower Hamlets. But thank you very much.
No, thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. So, bye. Cool. So that's Pete Robon signing off. So that was an experiment kind of that we've done where technology doesn't work and we go back to old technology. So we're going to go slightly early into a break because the next section is going to be a bit more lengthy. And that is further questions Andrew has posed to Tower Hamlets Council. And there's a bit of a legal caveat, or there's been sort of like the legal department at Tower Hamlets Council has flashed warning signs. So we're gonna navigate through these tricky waters, Andrew and I. together. So we're going to go straight into a break. After that, we're going to discuss further questions for Tower Hamlets Council regarding the prosecution acquittal of Afsana Begum.